The ASB Cabinet is in charge of planning events, sports games, and fundraisers that work to make Eastlake a better place. Make sure you choose your candidates wisely. I strongly encourage you to cast your votes in all seriousness. This decision will truly impact how the Associated Student Body operates next year. If any delegates are seen behaving poorly, our ushers will escort them out of the room. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our elections commissioners, Edelyn Sugashaw and Corey Bailey. Good morning, students, and welcome to our 2025 nomination convention. We are here today to narrow down the executive board positions of senior class president, vice president, secretary, and ASB president. The convention will be adjourned when 2 candidates for each office, president, vice president, and secretary, have been placed on the ballot for the election by the delegation. In order to be placed on the final ballot, a candidate must receive either a majority or a plurality of the vote. Thus, the top 2 candidates will be placed on the ballot. We will begin with our senior class presidential candidates and their speakers. First, we have Samantha Sriracha representing Diego Sandoval.
Good morning, staff and students of Eastlake High. I proudly stand before you today to represent Diego Sandoval as hopefully your senior class president. I've had the honor and privilege of calling Diego my best friend for the past 3 years. I first met Diego at freshman orientation, and of course I was drawn to him by his cool hair and outfit. I was then surprised when he asked our senior guides about a million questions, and I wondered to myself, who is this kid? But that's just who Diego is. He's been invested in Eastlake since day 1. Day 0, if you will. It shows in his involvement in and out of school with the culture, his academic dedication, and community advocacy. Ever since freshman year, Diego's been invested in his clubs and made each of them a priority, consistently earning higher than a 4.0 every year, and even then has always made time to help me with my homework. Aside from all of that, he regularly exercises his passion for climate justice by volunteering at several nonprofits. I truly believe that because of his open communication, organization, and dedication to all of what Eastlake has to offer, he'll make a beautiful choice as senior class president.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos días a todos. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to share the stage with other bright and passionate young students. On that note, hi, my name is Diego Sandoval, and I am thrilled to talk to you today about why I would make the best senior class president of class of 2026. The responsibility of managing senior class activities is nothing to sneeze at. Under my leadership, these events will undoubtedly be carefully organized to maximize the memorability that would be created by students and my peers. Enjoyment and memorability are things that I hold to be very important to me as class president. Right, I already am class president. As the current junior class president, I am familiar with the concept of serving as a civil servant to our class and the familiarity with the pride and hard work that goes into it. Going into my freshman year, knowing only 3 people coming from a small charter school, I am immensely proud of the beautiful community of Titans that I have the honor of calling myself a part of. A community that I know will vouch for me when I say I have what it takes to be a leader and the face of our 2026 class. As senior class president, I understand that it would be my responsibility to organize senior class events. However, I will do more than that. By organizing new and engaging events for students on campus, keeping a revolving door of food choices available to Titans, and managing an active social media account that helps seniors through their college app processes, engages with the student body, as well as recognizes student awards, I will make sure that our senior year is as memorable as possible, even if that means countless late nights and early mornings. To wrap things up, it is through my passion for leadership, great organizational skills, I think everyone here would be very proud of my Google Calendar, as well as my outgoing personality and drive to do things the best that they can be done that make me the best candidate for the class president of class of 2026. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Lucy Waters representing Simon Greer. morning, everyone. My name is Lucy Waters, and I have the honor of introducing my good friend, Simon Greer. Simon and I have worked together for the last 2 years as Vice President and Secretary for the class of 2026. We have spent many hours organizing fundraisers, filling in paperwork, and raising money for events that will be held in our senior year. Along with that, Simon has fully immersed himself in the Titan culture and is involved in programs all across Eastlake High. He is the co-founder of both the Military Students Club and the Creative Writers Club, the Vice President of Eastlake's Peer Mediation Program, an avid member of Eastlake's boys volleyball team, as well as has maintained above a 4.3 GPA on top of this. Since I first met Simon, he has always had a welcoming presence that has allowed me and many others to grow fond of him. His kindness and enthusiasm towards all of Eastlake High doesn't go unnoticed. I know that I can always count on Simon to help whenever I need it. You too can count on Simon as your senior class president. Without further ado, Simon Greer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Simon Greer, and I'd like to begin by telling you a little bit about myself. I've lived overseas for about a third of my life and lived in Italy prior to moving here. I moved to California my freshman year and was immediately struck by the immense spirit and unity that Eastlake High School provided. Out of the countless schools I've been to, Eastlake's pride was unparalleled. I immediately knew I had to be part of it and joined class cabinet my sophomore year as vice president, and I've had the honor of being re-elected as vice president this year as well. During my time in office, our cabinet has raised over $1,000 in class funds. As senior class president, I will continue to fundraise regularly, having more interactive and enjoyable fundraisers to get the student body involved and donating to their classes. I would also be sure to maintain and bolster the Titan spirit that makes Eastlake such a unique and amazing school. Additionally, I'd seek to make the fundraising process more available and understandable to other class cabinets as well, as I feel there's a major disconnect over the paperwork required of classes to raise money. I'd remedy this by holding class councils where I can walk through the necessary steps of the paperwork and answer any questions board members may have. I believe this will allow classes to raise more money to have awesome events throughout their high school years, as well as making the process clearer for those who may be less experienced. Part of our amazing Titan spirit is of course famously displayed at our football games. Although nobody can deny that these games are super fun, other sports don't achieve as high of a turnout. As senior class president, I aim to get higher attendance at less populated Titan sports, who deserve just as much love as our larger ones. By providing incentives such as reduced ticket prices for those wearing a class t-shirt or those who bring a supportive poster, we could achieve higher attendance while also promoting greater Titan spirit. I understand that senior year is a highlight year for all students who are going through and went through high school, and I'm passionate about carrying out my duties to represent our class as well as make this year as memorable as possible. As senior class president, I will aim to make a lasting impression on Eastlake High by making long-standing 12th
the Tech Commission in ASB, which she has been in for 2 years now. Her hard work and resilience never fails to approach any task given to her with the utmost quality and efficiency, not to mention her countless hours and late nights dedicated to making sure every school event is handled smoothly. As she works behind the scenes to run assemblies and film and edit amazing spirit and promotional videos, it is clear that Nat is in any situation the most reliable and initiative-seeking individual. Juggling 5 AP classes, a 4.5 GPA, an internship, and volunteering weekly at Sharp, her excellence in academics characterizes her drive to succeed and ultimately provide to you all a fun and well-run school year. With all this in consideration,
Good morning, Titans. My name is Natalia Thayer, and I'd love the opportunity to serve as your 2025 to 2026 ASB Vice President. You may recognize me as the ASB girl at every club movie night, or as the person you see in the ASB lobby every morning before school. What you may not know is that I'm also behind all of ASB's video productions and run the assembly audios and visuals. Over the past 2 years, I've dedicated countless late nights and early mornings to ensure that your high school experience is enjoyable and memorable. And this past year, I've had the privilege of leading the Tech Commission, where I've developed strong communication, collaboration, and decision-making skills. Beyond my own, I've also worked with every other ASB commission, which has allowed me to build a diverse skill set and a deep understanding of how the ASB operates internally. I believe this experience, combined with my passion and drive, makes me an ideal candidate for vice president. As ASB Vice President, my primary responsibility would be to support and facilitate our over 140 clubs on campus, a role I admire as clubs are key to true representation of our student body as they provide an outlet for personal expression. If elected, I have three main goals: to increase accessibility for clubs, increase transparency within the student body, and provide greater support from the ASB. After interviewing club officers from over 30 clubs on campus, there's been a common consensus of the difficulties that club paperwork possesses. I plan to increase the frequency of inter-club council or ICC meetings, especially at the beginning of the year, to ensure club officers fully understand why these paperwork processes are necessary, even hosting smaller workshops for large events like luau and club fairs to ensure paperwork is completed properly and with as much ease as possible. Taking on an officer position is a learning process, and the ASB should be a main support throughout that. Another issue is the lack of a solid communication platform between clubs and the ASB. I propose moving to Google Classroom, a platform all students use and are familiar with. This would allow club officers to easily access resources and be the first notified of upcoming events, ensuring that they are always in the know. Speaking of communication, I would also like to host an ASB officer panel once or twice a semester, which would be a live event during lunch, in which students may ask questions and receive live answers, allowing for a better flow of communication and greater transparency between the ASB and the student body. The past year, I launched the Tech Request Form, which led to a 75% increase in ASB-aided club activities compared to last year. I plan to expand on the success with initiatives like Club Spotlight to highlight 2 to 3 new clubs each month, having ASB support smaller club events such as theaters, coffee shop to allow student performers to receive the recognition they deserve, and working with our cultural clubs to host a multicultural club spirit week, ending with a cultural night targeted to give underrepresented clubs a chance to promote and fundraise. I want every student to make the most of their Eastlake experience, and if you elect me, I'll work tirelessly to support your endeavors next year. Thank you for your time, and remember, don't think twice, vote Natalia Thayer for Vice.
We'll now be asked 3 questions by your current Vice President. Hi, my name is Frida Garcia, and for your first question, as ASB Vice President, you often have to commute consistently with your peers and superiors. How do you plan to build relationships with club officers and advisors?
So through our ICC meetings, I plan to have multiple at the beginning of the year specifically to make sure that club officers know that they can always come to me for any questions, because when I was interviewing the club officers in the past few weeks, the main thing that they told me was that they also didn't know who to contact in terms of questions, so I want them to know that I am always here for them to come for questions, and also they're allowed to ask as many questions as possible because I want to make sure that they know how to do the club paperwork right and make it as easy as possible for them to run their club. And the Google Classroom also allows for club officers to put private comments under resources and like announcements as well, and so that's another way to reach me if they don't have my number or they don't know where my email is. They can also reach me that way as well.
Thank you. ASB is responsible for planning many events. How do you plan to handle a situation where an event isn't going as planned, and what steps do you take to resolve this problem?
So I first pinpoint what the issue is in terms of the event. Because I've been a tech commissioner for 2 years, we're usually involved with a lot of logistics of events. And so we've always had to work very diligently to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. And I think one strength that I possess is that my ability to work under pressure. And so I would try to figure out just what the best compromise would be in that situation. Like say that the balloon drop isn't up for an event. We would just have to move on with it. It's not a need. We can probably get more confetti cannons, get more of our class officers to help with increasing like the spirit and just the spirit decorations because of that lack of balloon drop, but it would just be to make the best of the situation that we have.
Thank you. Being an ASB cabinet, we all make mistakes. What is one weakness that you may have while serving this role, and how do you plan to manage that weakness?
A weakness that I have is that I'm a perfectionist, and so I put my 100% into everything, but I think definitely with the workload that I've had this past year, I have to learn how to delegate what I need to be putting 100% into and what I need to choose my battles essentially, and so that's something that I would take more into consideration next year, and knowing what big things that I need to put my efforts into as opposed to other things that I need to lay low on a little bit and put a little bit less effort so that the bigger events can have more quality and more emphasis in the long run.
Thank you.
Good morning, staff and students. My name is Elisa Corcoran, and I have the honor of speaking on behalf of my best friend, Elisa Osuna. Elisa is the best candidate for ASB Vice President, as she is a natural leader, a dedicated student, and a kind friend. I believe she will work exceptionally well alongside the other ASB cabinet members, bringing in fresh ideas and a strong work ethic. Elisa does 2 sports, water polo and swim, and I have the privilege to swim with her during the spring. Her energy and enthusiasm are contagious, creating a supportive atmosphere that brings out the best in everyone around her. Beyond athletics, Elisa is someone who takes initiative. Her ability to balance academics, sports, and leadership is truly inspiring. She is someone who listens and takes actions and follows through on her commitments. With Elisa as ASB Vice President, I know she will work hard to ensure our school will grow in a positive direction. Thank you for listening, and remember to vote Elisa.
Good morning, Titans. My name is Elisa Osuna, and I am thrilled to be here today as one of your ASB Vice Presidential candidates. First, I want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to be here and listening to my fellow candidates and nice speeches. Now, one of the best decisions that I made during my time here at Eastlake High School was joining the ASB. Through this opportunity, I have been able to work alongside and learn from people that are dedicated to enhancing your high school experience. This past year, I have had the privilege of being the head of campus culture, a position that has allowed me to gain great insight into the specific needs of clubs and our student body as a whole. I have also learned about the vital role of the ASB Vice President and the important job they have of managing clubs and working alongside the cabinet to plan events for our school. Next year, I want to increase communication between club and the ASB, and I plan to do this by introducing monthly meetings between the ASB and the Vice President, between club officers and the Vice President. In these meetings, my intention is to inform club officers about events and fundraising opportunities, give them a space to directly ask questions, and help them with any paperwork that they need for fundraisers and expenses. Further, I want to give clubs more opportunities to promote themselves. I plan to do this by introducing cultural fairs to highlight the diverse cultures here at our campus, rap fairs to represent the arts programs such as Color Guard, who is currently competing, and theater, who is working on their spring play. I also want to introduce STEM fairs to emphasize our amazing STEM programs such as Titanbot, and sports days to highlight the amazing and talented athletes here at our school. There's about 150 clubs at campus and over 20 sports teams, which makes it easy for certain groups to be overshadowed. And I hope that with these events, we will expose students to all opportunities at campus and encourage them to become more involved. Next year, I also want to foster more school spirit by allowing Titans to become more involved in making decisions regarding events at school. There's over 2,500 students enrolled at Eastlake High School, and currently there's only a little over 50 members of the ASB, which makes it difficult to ensure that all of your interests are met, which is why I plan on implementing surveys and questionnaires for Titans to give their input on spirit days and activities they want to see at campus. If elected, I promise to be your voice and ensure that all of your ideas are heard, because together we can make next year fun and memorable. I will commit myself to this position and dedicate my time to prioritizing your wants and needs. So thank you so much, and remember to check Jupiter later today and vote Elisa Osuna for ASB Vice President. You will now be asked 3 questions by your current ASB Vice President.
Hi. As ASB Vice President, you often have to communicate consistently with your peers and superiors. How do you plan to build relationships with club advisors and officers?
Like I mentioned in my speech, I plan on introducing monthly meetings between club officers and the Vice President. I hope this will build a more trusting relationship between the ASB and club officers and allow for more dialogue to be interchanged. Through my job at the campus culture, I've seen the struggle that a lot of club officers have when filling out the paperwork, and because when I feel like there's a lot of there's not enough information about how to filling out the paperwork, and I hope that with these meetings I'll be able to help them and also give them a space for them to ask questions and about the events that we have.
Thank you. ASB is responsible for planning many events. How would you handle a situation where an event isn't going as planned, and what steps would you take to solve that problem?
First, I would make sure to keep a positive attitude and a positive environment throughout the whole situation. and then I will gather all of the ASB so that we can together decide how we can move forward and make sure that the event turns out better.
Thank you. Being in the ASB cabinet, we all make mistakes. What is one weakness you may have while serving in this role, and how do you plan to manage that weakness?
One weakness that I may have was that I tend to sometimes put off work when I think that I have a lot of time. So a way that I will manage this, especially when managing club charters, is to give myself a deadline and a goal to every day to meet so that I can, that all the charters are completed and all the Google Sheets with all the charters are done on time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Since only 2 candidates are running for vice president, both names will be presented on the ballot when voting. Delegates will have the chance to abstain from the vote.
We will now begin with our candidates running for secretary.
First, we have Claire Lee and her representative, Allison Kim.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Allison Kim, and I'm extremely honored to be here to introduce one of my closest friends, Claire Lee, who I know is the best candidate for secretary. I first met Claire in 8th grade when we returned to in-person learning, and we immediately clicked. Claire was a constant in my life during the transition from middle school to high school, and we went through many ups and downs together, from studying for her first AP test to spending all-nighters watching Twilight. With next year being Claire's 3rd year in ASB, it demonstrates her commitment to ASB, her fellow peers, and the Eastlake community. Furthermore, Claire is involved in 2 athletic teams while also taking the most rigorous classes available to her. Claire's ability to balance her academics, ASB, sports, and extracurriculars clearly demonstrates that Claire is more than qualified to be a secretary with Eastlake's best interests at heart. But most importantly, I know how funny, caring, and persistent Claire is, and I know with no doubt that Claire will bring unprecedented change and redefine both ASB and Eastlake as a whole. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Claire Lee, and I would like to be your 2025 to 2026 ASB Secretary. I've been ASB for about 2 years now, allowing me to see how school activities and events are run and how much work and time ASB members put in to ensure that our school is inclusive and fun. Also, my time at ASB allowed me to see how important your opinions are to the school and to ASB running smoothly. If elected as Secretary, there are 2 new initiatives that I would like to pursue. The first one is to increase transparency between the ASB and the student body. Before I joined ASB, I myself was not aware of how ASB functions specifically and how much work ASB puts into creating fun school activities, spirit weeks, assemblies, and approval for clubs and sports. To ensure that everyone on campus has a greater understanding of what ASB is doing, I would like to work with our marketing commission to work on monthly updates, listing important dates, as well as making meeting minutes available for the Eastlake students on the Eastlake website. This will allow for you guys to be aware of future school events and understand how ASB manages your funds, approval for clubs, and how we allocate our resources to ensure that your school experience is better. Alongside that, I will work with marketing to post on the school account monthly updates that will detail what each ASB commission is doing and working on, to let you know what ASB is planning and doing. I will also be updating this every month. My second initiative will be working with our Spirit Commission to incorporate class points into school activities. As a student in Eastlake, I feel like there isn't as much interaction between the classes. To create more interaction with the classes in a competitive yet friendly manner, I would like to have class competitions for a week each month during lunch that will involve class points if one participates or even wins. For example, we would have 3 students per grade level who will be able to sign up through the school account to participate in the class competitions. Each class will receive class points, but will be distributed with the winner class receiving the most amount of points. This will be done either in the quad or in the classrooms with the permission and discussion with the teachers who are willing to lend their classroom for that day. If elected as secretary, I would like to have more interaction and connection between ASB and the student body and the classes, which I believe will allow for a bigger sense of community and transparency within the school. Thank you for listening to my speech, and go vote Claire for secretary.
Here's your current ASB secretary asking you 3 questions.
Hi, I'm Kyla Dill. ASB relies on clear and timely documentation. How would you ensure that meeting minutes, event details, and important announcements are organized and communicated to members of the ASB?
I will do this by having a organized Google Sheet for meeting minutes especially, and a Google Doc for schedules for the ASB members for football games or assemblies. I feel like using technology will be easier, and it will be easier for me to share information through WhatsApp or through whatever platform that we use to communicate with our ASB members. And yeah, I think I'll use Google Sheets and Google Docs to inform others of what our plans are for ASB.
You listed in your application that you have several extracurriculars outside of ASB. How do you plan on managing your time and priorities between serving ASB cabinet and these other commitments?
I myself do have a lot of extracurriculars. However, as my experience of being an ASB for about 2 years now, I'm aware of the responsibilities that we all have to take as an ASB member and part of our work to make our school better and inclusive. I would be willing to sacrifice my extracurriculars to participate and to plan out our school activities. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Janine Ibrahim, and I'm honored to represent Izzy Golden in the race for ASB Secretary. It has been a privilege to watch Izzy grow into such an intelligent, kind, and compassionate person. Her ability to listen, stay organized, and unite people makes her the perfect candidate for Secretary. Even during challenging moments, Izzy does not back down. She learns, she grows, and she comes back even stronger. During her early lacrosse seasons, we were not as close as we are now. Being captain, I was able to watch her from afar and analyze her abilities. If she couldn't find an outlet to shoot, she would look for other opportunities around the goal. No matter if it varied from passing, cutting, or using a new shooting technique, she found a way. That is something I will always admire about her, that she won't take giving up as a solution. Her character is not only a beaming light within our campus, it is also a ray of sunshine wherever she goes. Being stuck to each other's side throughout this year, we work together, we lose together, and now we will win together. When you cast your vote,
That's time.
Thank you for your time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isabelle Golden, otherwise known as Izzy, and I'm running to be your ASB Secretary. I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak with you today. I've always loved being involved in my school, whether that's through my sports such as lacrosse and field hockey, which have given me a sense of school spirit that no other activity has. Wearing tight and blue and representing Eastlake with my team made me fall in love with the school and fueled my desire to serve it as an ASB officer. Through sports, I've learned teamwork, problem solving, and strategy, skills I believe relate to the role of secretary. I have 2 years of ASB experience in middle school, one in which I was ASB president. This year, I'm part of the new Campus Culture Commission. Alongside my other commission members, we created a social media platform, supported clubs, and posted information about school history and different cultures, hoping to foster a positive and inclusive environment here on campus. This involvement has strengthened my organizational and leadership skills, preparing me for the responsibilities of secretary. While there are many things I would like to achieve as secretary, I would like to start by advocating for more student outreach. Student voice is the foundation of ASB, and I believe it is crucial for every student to have a platform to share their thoughts, ideas, and concerns. To accomplish this, I plan to implement multiple ways to gather feedback. I will introduce the suggestion box, feedback forms, and actively promote the suggestion box, making sure it is easily accessible and regularly checked. By listening to and acting on their feedback, I hope to create an environment where the student body's wishes are reflected in the events, activities, and initiatives that we plan together. This can also be used to revitalize school spirit. I often find that it is a new culture among my peers to find dressing up for Spirit Weeks and participating in school events lame. I plan to shift this culture and increase the Titan spirit by working closely with our Spirit and Marketing Commissions to get feedback before Spirit Weeks for students to pick from a variety of Spirit Days, so that we plan Spirit Weeks that all students are excited to dress up for. These are just two of the many ideas that I plan to implement next school year. So if you want to see change, vote Isabelle Golden for your ASB Secretary to make your next school year golden. Thank you.
ASB relies on clear and timely documentation. How would you ensure that meeting minutes, event details, and important announcements are organized and communicated to members of the ASB?
Thank you for your question. I would begin at the start of the school year by making sure that I have all the documents organized and ready to go for all meeting minutes and for all ASB meetings. I would also make sure that I attend all ASB meetings regardless of all my other commitments to make sure that I stay organized and have all of our meeting minutes ready to go. And I would make sure that we stay organized as an ASB and that I listen clearly during ASB meetings and make sure that we have all of our meeting minutes and paperwork ready. Thank you.
You've listed in your application that you have several extracurriculars outside of ASB. How do you plan on managing your time and priorities between serving on ASB cabinet and these other commitments?
Like I said before, I believe that ASB is top priority, especially when it comes to making sure that all of your school years run smoothly. So while I have sports and clubs and other extracurriculars, I believe that ASB will be at the top of my list, and I will make sure that I will form my schedule around ASB, not put ASB into my schedule.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Guarana, and I'm truly honored to stand before you to talk about why my best friend is such an amazing person and the best person to fit the role of ASB Secretary. To start off, I would like to say that Isabella is one of the most hardworking people I have ever met. She is committed to every task she takes on and strives to succeed. Isabella has taken on challenges such as being an active member in ASB. She is a mentoring club officer, all while still balancing dance lessons after school and being a part of Eastlake Dance Company. Isabella is passion-driven, kind, and without a doubt, the type of person anyone can admire. Isabella truly is the kind of person that everyone can rely on, as she has already demonstrated her devotion to ensuring every voice is heard in Metro. If you vote Isabella Estrella as next year's ASB Secretary, I can promise you that she won't fail at making our school a better community. Thank you.
Staff and students. First off, I'd like to thank everyone in this room for being here today. My name is Isabella Estrella, and it would be my greatest honor to be your ASB Secretary for the 2025-2026 school year. When I first became a part of ASB, I was a sophomore who knew not where I stood. But when I was accepted onto this team, I felt like I finally found my calling. Every day, I continue to learn how to adapt, communicate, and how as a community we can improve our high school. This past year, I was fortunate enough to be part of the Art and Publicity Commission, and I have to say, after a few weeks of committed brainstorming, hard work, crucial organization, and not to mention many ink stains, senior crash binders tied together our assemblies taught me the importance of determination. As secretary, I vowed to never forget the hardships of being an ASB newbie, and it would be my pleasure to make every student in and out of ASB feel not only like they are welcomed, but to make it known that they are one piece of the puzzle that makes it Eastlake High. Now that I've gotten to see firsthand how our terrific commissioners and officers work as a team, I feel very strongly about taking on the role of uniting our community. That being said, as your next secretary, I will ensure that the student life throughout the whole school remains organized and 100% involved in all we do. I felt that this past year, there was a club for almost everything, which is a good thing. However, we found that membership decreased as the year went on.
To counteract this, I feel more frequent club rushes would really benefit club promotion, as it's almost impossible to check out over 100 clubs within one lunch period. Additionally, I'm aware of the unfortunate circumstance that some students aren't satisfied with some of the decisions of ASB, despite the fact that we try our best to provide them with the best high school experience. However, it is vital that we take into account the opinions of our peers. Therefore, as secretary, I want to instill the satisfaction of our students by proposing a periodic survey after assemblies, games, etc., that will supply our student body with the treasured opinions of the students. That way, those outside of ASB can feel heard and considered that they are meant to be, and so our school spirit can grow astronomically. I recognize that as secretary, a lot of trust is placed on my part. And with that said, a vote for me is a vote for responsibility, organization, and accomplishment. Thank you.
ASB relies on clear and timely documentation. How would you ensure that meeting minutes, event details, and important announcements are organized and communicated to members of the ASB?
I can say that I'm very gifted in keeping track of all my documents, all my dates in my calendar and my folders. So by keeping track and really paying attention to the organization of meeting minutes, documents, and just any paperwork that needs to be keeping track of, I can say that I will ensure organization within the ASB as well as communication with those outside.
You listed on your application that you have several extracurriculars outside of ASB. How do you plan on managing your time and priorities between serving on ASB cabinet and these other commitments?
I know that if I was accepted and if I was handed this role of ASB secretary, I will have to prioritize ASB over many of the other things. That being said, I'm willing to sacrifice my time as well as trying my best to balance that out. So there's many, hours of the day where I am able to commit more time to ASB, and with that being said, I'm more than happy to.
Good morning, staff, teachers, and students. My name is Andrea Thayer, and I have the privilege of introducing a leader who embodies relentless dedication, ambition, and the drive to propel Eastlake to new heights. Rory Licht Sabellico is a leader who doesn't just speak about change, he actively works to create it. Licht is committed to transparency, ensuring that every student's voice is heard, and pushing ASB to achieve its full potential. His strength and resilience makes him unafraid of challenges. When something needs to be done, Licht steps up. When problems arise, he finds solutions. He brings perspectives, bold initiatives, and a commitment to meaningful change. Licht is dedicated to fostering a school environment where every student feels connected, engaged, and proud to be a Titan. And of course, many of you already know him as a charismatic host on your morning bulletin. So without further ado, let's give our full attention and a warm welcome to your candidate for ASB President, Licht Sabellico.
I know some of you have heard this. Good morning, Eastlake High School. My name is Rory Licht Sabellico. I'm running to be your ASB President. Titans, never settle. That's not just a slogan, it's a mindset. It means we don't accept just good enough. We don't let the past define us. We don't stay stagnant, we move forward, we evolve, and we push limits. At its core, ASB exists to serve the students. Not for titles, not for recognition, but to make this school better than how we found it. Every person in ASB should be here to serve something greater than themselves, to create moments, to build a future, and to lift everyone up. But let's be real, sometimes it can feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect. ASB sometimes feels separate, like decisions are made behind closed doors. That shouldn't be the case. That's why I'm pushing for real transparency. Every student should feel like their voice matters. And whether they're in every single club in every single sport or none at all, you should be able to walk up to me or anyone in ASB and let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if you have any suggestions, anything, and know that you will be heard. And I will understand you and I'll work for what you guys want. That's why I'm pushing for open suggestions, a space where anyone can share ideas, concerns, anything. Because this is your school. Next, change. ASB has done some great things, but we can't keep doing the same things we've been doing because it's comfortable. The world is different. School is different. We need bold ideas, bigger vision, and we need leaders who won't back down from progress. When I say times never settle, it's not just a phrase. It's a commitment. It's a promise that we rise above distractions. We refuse to be held back by always thinking. We lead, we build, and we push forward. This is Eastlake. This is who we are. We don't wait for victory, we create it. We don't follow, we lead. And when the race begins, we don't just run it, we own the finish line. Titans never bow, never bend, and never break. We rise, we fight, and we move forward. This is our time. This is our legacy. Never forget that. Never doubt that. And never, ever settle. Thank you.
We'll now be answering 3 questions by your current ASB president.
Shoot for it.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Cox. I will be reading your first question. 3 responsibilities that you will have if elected while serving this role.
Responsibilities. On my speech, I mentioned transparency. How I'm going to achieve transparency? I want everyone to be involved in the process. ASB is its own organization, and then we have ASB and BED. These aren't separate organizations. We are one school. We are one union. We should all work together. What I'm thinking, we have a Google Classroom. We have separate Google Classrooms, one for VAPA, clubs, sports, where we work together, we collaborate. Because we need to work together to make this school better. At the end of the day, everyone is trying their best academically, trying their best sports-wise, to bring honor to himself, bring honor to the school. Everyone's working together. That's a major responsibility. The next one is change. I will commit myself and I'll work tirelessly to think outside the box and work with every single one of the students to bring change to the school. Bring better, bolder, and new ideas and listen to you because this is your school. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear every single bold idea everyone has.
And finally, for your last question, what is one quality you possess that makes you a good leader, and give us an example of the time you demonstrated this quality.
What makes me a good leader? I'm relentless in my pursuit. When there's a fight, when there's a conflict, I don't back down. Of course there's times where I don't want to do stuff. Of course there's times where I'm scared to do something, but I do it anyway. If I fear something, if I have any concerns about it, that's exactly the signal for me to go, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. I'm relentless in my pursuit, and I'm relentless in my goals to make this school the best school ever. And in addition to that, I'm compassionate. I'll admit I've had several hardships in my life. I've met several bad people. I've met several bad situations. I don't want that for anyone else. I want to be compassionate. I want to care for everyone else. I want to be a hand to everyone else. As many times as I've had bad situations, I've had really good people who have given me a hand, who helped me become the man I am, such as my brother, such as my stepdad. I want to be that hand to people, and I want everyone to feel encouraged and motivated to do their best.
Good morning, students and staff. My name is Mia Corral, and I'm running to be your next ASB president. In the past year of being a part of ASB, I've had the privilege of working alongside an amazing and diligent student body, as well as work late nights to provide unforgettable experiences for you, the students. I've been also able to expand my connection within the Eastlake community, and with this have many initiatives that I plan to earnestly work towards to make Eastlake the best version of itself if elected president. At Eastlake, I believe students' voices are extremely important as you are the heart of this school. After speaking with our own Eastlake students, many have voiced their concern at the lack of opportunities there are to input their own opinions on our Spirit Weeks, assembly themes, and concessions. By creating forums for students to submit their creative ideas online and physical forms that can be dropped off at the ASB, I hope to make each Titan feel more involved and represented. Going hand in hand, Titan Pride has seemed to regress as fewer students are dressing up for our Spirit Days, participating in our Titan Blue Fridays, and even knowing the alma mater. I plan to bring back our Titan Pride by physically having ASB go classroom to classroom with teacher permission and informing all of our students on upcoming events and Spirit Days. Also by re-implementing our Spirit Point system to encourage participation and encouraging all of our staff to dress up and inform their students. Inclusivity within Eastlake is also one of my top priorities as your next ASB president. I especially want to highlight our Unified Sports program and our Titan Buddies program. This past year, we were able to see our Titans at basketball games, football games, track meets, assemblies, and even their own thrift store. However, I want to push for more opportunities within more sports to open their doors and highlight their amazing talent, hard work, and accomplishments. I also want to begin to expand this program into our backup programs such as EDC, color guard, theater, art, and more. Additionally, I will strive to work alongside Titan Buddies to magnify their events at our school by reaching out to all of our Titans directly. Lastly, if you elect me as your next president, I will ensure to promote connection for our underclassmen. I believe many underclassmen at the school feel a disconnect as most seniors tend to have the spotlight. To combat this, I plan to implement an appropriate battle of the classes, which can be seen during assemblies, Spirit Weeks, and even sports games. Also by promoting our underclassmen on our social media and more underclassmen events before and during the school year, I will work diligently to connect all students by creating real change, unity, and compassion to provide the most memorable year for everyone at Eastlake High School. To see true progress, vote Mia Corral as your next ASB president. Thank you.
Please name 3 responsibilities that you will have if elected while serving this role.
3 responsibilities that I would have if I was elected this role is to host our weekly meetings for ASB, which are used to communicate with the rest of our ASB and to talk about our expenditures and our activities forms is just very, very important for us to talk about it and to accept them, as well as go to the monthly meetings for the rest of the ASB presidents around the school district. And lastly, to create and obtain an appropriate and professional image of Eastlake as the ASB president is representing all of our Eastlake students and all of our staff.
Thank you. And finally, what is one quality you possess that makes you a good leader? And please give us an example of a time you've demonstrated this quality.
One quality that I think that I possess to be a good leader is my direct nature. I tend to be very direct and very open and honest. And one way this can be seen is during any of my dance teams. You can see that I'm always a part of the conversation and trying to help to create the best solution for any problems that arise. And because of my open attitude and honest attitude, I am able to create efficiency and provide the best result for everyone involved. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Casey Papa, and I'm proudly representing Paige Sinclair. I met Paige in 8th grade, and since then we've gotten so close that I could tell you exactly why I should be the perfect ASB president. Paige is the busiest person I know. She balances school, volleyball clubs, family, and church while responding to my texts in seconds. Not only is she committed to her academics and extracurriculars, but she remembers to make time for her friends and family. Another thing about Paige is that once she promises something, she will follow through with it. One time I told her I wanted sugar cookies, and the next day she showed up with a whole box of them. Now, I'm not saying that everyone will get cookies too, but if you want a president who will keep their promises to make the school a better place, Paige is your top choice. Paige is the best candidate because she understands the challenges students go through. Just took that calc exam, so did Paige. Because she's so involved, she goes through the same things you do. I know Paige will not only ensure your problems are seen, but also find great solutions for them. Paige has all the qualities of an excellent ASB president: dedication, reliability, and a deep understanding of student needs. These qualities are what sets her apart from other candidates, as she is the leader our school deserves. Thank you.
Think about the last time that you had a great idea for our school. Maybe it was about spirit days, better parking, or even fixing the bathrooms, because we all know that struggle. But how often are those ideas really put into action? If you don't know me already, my name is Paige Sinclair, and I will take action as your next ASB president. Now, I know election speeches can all start to sound the same, lots of promises and ideas without any action, but the real question is, will anything change? If you vote for me, the answer is yes. I've been active with the ASB for the past 2 years. Currently, as a head of the Spirit Commission, I've helped plan lots of school events, spirit videos, and even emceed 2 assemblies. I've also been very dedicated to both club and school volleyball since 7th grade, most recently as part of our varsity team, winning D1 CIF last season. So now you might be wondering, why should I be your ASB president? Well, I'm here to represent everyone, whether you're a scholar, athlete, artist, or even someone just trying to dodge the guy in the golf cart. No matter where you stand, you are a part of this school and your voice matters. As president, I will seek your feedback on our events through surveys and forums, because if anyone knows how to make these events better, it's you, students experiencing them. I also want to make sure that every student feels like they belong, pushing for more frequent activities that bring us together, such as more assemblies, club fairs, or new traditions that you all help create. Now, I get that high school can be really stressful and overwhelming, but when we come together at football games, pep rallies, and spirit weeks, that's when school becomes more than just school. Now, as corny as that sounds, it's simply when school just becomes fun. So Titans, your vote holds the power to shape an incredible year ahead. If you want a school year filled with lasting memories, strong school spirit, and a genuine voice in the decisions that matter, then vote Paige for Pres. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Victoria Cox. I'm the current ASB President. Name 3 responsibilities that you will have if elected while serving this role.
Thank you for the question. I'd say the first responsibility that I have is just being the face of ASB, like the most obvious answer. Because as ASB president, everyone looks to you for the answers. Everyone sees you as the main person in the ASB to go to. I also think my second responsibility would be to communicate with others in the ASB, and also outside of the ASB as a student body, just to provide clarity from the ASB decisions, and also just encourage their voice and their opinion in ASB matters. And then my third responsibility would just be, again, to be that example, be that person to look to for the student body as ASB president, and to just show what it's like to go to Eastlake.
And finally, what is one quality that you possess that makes you a good leader? And please give us an example of a time you demonstrated this quality.
I'd say a quality that I have that makes me a good leader is communication. I feel that I prioritize being able to provide clarity and talk with other people when it comes to matters of the ASB, and also just outside of the ASB with the student body. And I find mostly I've been in the Spirit Commission, and I had to MC and plan multiple assemblies, and also spirit videos and spirit weeks in general. And that requires a lot of communication because there's so many moving parts in the ASB that all come together for one assembly to happen. And just the responsibility that it takes to make that happen is through communication.
That concludes all the candidate speeches.